Hey everybody, Morzak EV here, a channel dedicated to all things electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging and all related technologies. So I'm on my way back from a job and having a discussion with the client. It made me think about what people do and don't understand, and I thought I'd do a quick video regarding charge points, earth rods, why you need them and what alternatives might exist. I don't want this video to be too techy. It's meant to be aimed at anybody so they can at least gain a little understanding of why you're being quoted an earth rod, for example, and maybe you can check before you even go in for a quote if you think an earth rod is required or not for your installation. So hopefully this will be useful to you. Roll the credits. Regarding earth rods, why are earth rods required for electric vehicle charge points, or some? Well, there's the short answer is it's in the regs. There's a regs requirement that if you are on what we call a TNS or TNCS earthing system, then your charge point must be on an earth rod, or there's a couple of other options that exist that we'll touch on later, and that will explain why some don't need earth rods. So if your house is on an earth rod, you don't need an earth rod because it's already got an earth rod. If you're on a TNS or TNCS system, I'll explain what those are. So if you look at your main incoming fuse, such as this one or this one, you'll see that your earthing is supplied by the distributor. Now you find that most houses in the UK are on a TNCS or TNS supply. Most houses are not on an earth rod. If they are on an earth rod, it tends to be houses in rural locations and fed by overhead lines, generally speaking. But the only way you can really tell is by looking at the mains incomer, and you'll see if there's no earth supplied, you must have an earth rod. So you see the TNS and TNCS electricity supplies, the earthing comes from the distributor. So that means that your earthing might be at some point down the line on a PEN conductor. So a PEN conductor is where the earth and the neutral, before your supply, they're actually combined together. I'll put a quick diagram up. You can pause the video and have a look at it if you want, but it basically means that in a particular kind of fault condition on your electricity supply, if your neutral gets disconnected but your live is still connected, then to cut out all the techno you could touch the bodywork of your car, and if you're outside and touching the ground, you could complete the circuit and get an electric shock. It's a very rare occurrence, but obviously there's a possibility that it does exist. They do happen, so that's why we mitigate against that in the regulations, and that's why we install the earth rods. That explains where you do need an earth rod. Where don't you need an earth rod? As I've already said, if your house is on an earth rod. You don't need an earth rod if you're installing the charge point inside a garage. I've also seen people quoting to say they're installing the charge point in the garage, so they need to box in any metal pipe work. That's not true. If you're installing a charge point in the garage and you're charging your car in the garage, that's an important factor. It must be being charged in the garage as well. Then you don't need an earth rod, and you don't need to cover up any pipe work because it's all on the same earthing system. So earth rods, as you can probably gather from how this is going, earth rods can be a real pain. You can put them in the ground and you don't get a good enough reading, so you have to install a second earth rod. And I know that us and most installers will tell you, if we can't get a good reading on the day, if we're not able to put the earth rod somewhere and get a good reading, we'll have to install a second earth rod. That will be at cost on the day. Another complication is if you're having an earth rod installed outside, if there's any metal work, such as a metal light fitting or a pipe, any metal work which is connected back to your mains, so that would be your pipe work, metal light fittings, anything like that, you must not be able to touch the car and those at the same time, or this metal work and your charge point at the same time. So, what are the alternatives? Well, the first alternative is to install a charge point that needs an earth rod and then install a pen fault detection system. So what that does is monitor the voltages on your incoming, and it will actually detect if the neutral has been disconnected. But basically, they monitor the voltages, detect the issue, it will disconnect the live earth and neutral from your charge point. Thereby, you've got no problem with touching the bodywork of your car and completing any kind of circuit. Great. Why don't some other charge points need earth rods? And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but a couple of examples are the Anderson, the Zappi, Podpoint. Some of the wall box models now don't need an earth rod. Project EV Pro Earth is another model. They have a built-in open pen fault detection system. So that's built into the unit, doing exactly the same thing as the open pen fault detection system that we can quote. So it does affect the price. The charge points themselves with the pen fault detection system in are a little bit pricier than their non-pen fault cousins, if you like. For me, it's totally worth it. You don't need that extra bit of conduit running down to some soft ground. You don't need that box line on your grass or on your dirt, which you have to avoid when you're doing your gardening or anything like that. So to me, it's a bit of a no-brainer, but sometimes, budget is more of a concern, and the earth rod is sometimes the way to go. So what does an earth rod installation look like? Well, a single earth rod installation is a 4-foot copper rod which we hammer into the ground. Onto that we attach a clamp and a cable. The cable's then attached to the earth rod, and that goes to your charge point. Then the mains earthing that's in the cable stops at a certain point, usually in one of these whisker boxes, and from there we have the live and the neutral from the main supply and the earth from the earth rod, and that goes to the charge point. Can be fiddly. Obviously, when you're hammering the rod into the ground, the biggest pain is if you hit, you need to avoid your services, so you need to be aware of where all the services are. You can hit something really hard, some concrete. The worst one we ever had was I was trying to put an earth rod in the ground, and after a bit of investigation we kept coming across something rock solid, It was a brand new house in Housing Estate, and we hit a toilet. Somebody, they'd obviously broken a toilet during the erection of the new houses, and they put this, what looked like a brand new porcelain toilet, slightly broken, in the ground, and it was right where we wanted to put the earth rod, so we had to work our way around it, extend that out. And the customer replied that they were not surprised that there's something that big in the ground, because they could never get anything to grow in that patch, a garden. So yeah, there's all sorts of surprises that you can find. So I hope this video is useful. Check out our other videos on charge point installations, charge points. Check out our Tesla videos. If you like this video and found it useful, smash that like button. If you want to get notifications of our upcoming videos, subscribe and hit the bell icon. And until next time, thanks for watching.